Okay. So basically, that's it recording now. It's no big fanfare or anything like that. So it's great to see you, pal. How are you doing?
Good to see you, John. Sorry, I don't have a fancy background or anything like that. Seriously, low tech. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to see what's in the background there, Mick. Can I say we rainbow up the top there or something like that? What's on the shelf?
I'm in the Wayne's bedroom. It's the only place it's quiet. So I woke him up. I actually woke him up, got him out of his bed so I could get a shot of his room, thrown him out. I never even changed his nappy. I just I picked him up and gave him to Michelle. Here you go. Take him away so I could get a shot of his room.
That's brilliant.
I change the nappy all the time.
It looks kind of bright through there. Is it sunny?
Lovely, lovely sunny day. We had a bit of rain last night, but it's dried up, and now I've got a washing it. I need to make sure this meeting doesn't run over. The rain comes, and my washing will get ruined.
The joys and tribulations of being a yoga teacher and painting and decorating and all that stuff, pal.
I just finished a job the other day. I've still got the paint all over me. A wee outside job. So luckily, I'm getting a few outside jobs to keep me ticking over while we're in lockdown.
Yeah, I was doing a bit of painting with, the old cuprinol in the garden.
Aye.
I've got some pallets and other wood for skips and stuff like that, making up a compost heap, compost bins. And oh my God, I remember when I used to do a bit of painting and decorating. We worked in Mossmoran, when they were building that, the big petrochemical works over. And my cousin James was like the ganger for this squad of guys, and honestly, the most slapdash buggers you've ever met in your life. Shot blasting and painting the steel, and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And I just got lathered in it. I was lathered completely. These big petrol tanks or these big storage tanks, and we're off our face most of the time. These guys, the team used to be, they were a big family team, and they'd been like trawlermen in Hull before all the industry kind of collapsed. So now this is what they've done. They went around shot blasting and painting. It's quite a specialised field in painting.
Yep.
But they were all wrecked. I mean, they were using the air straight through the compressor, and so you were in these like space suits. And we were hitting with the red lead, the red oxide paint. I got really ill there. I was really ill.
You weren't suited up, no?
No.
Did you have the Vaseline on?
Aye. We're always Vaselined up. I wasn't care about that stuff, but yeah, we were constantly Vaselined up, and it was like it got to your pores and everything. But it was better than all the stuff sticking.
It's the only way to get it off. I've seen the pictures. Your garden's looking good.
It's getting there, pal. Aye. It's like more like a wee plot than a garden, but I'm at war with the local cats because they killed birds and stuff. So I'm trying to keep the cats out. So I built a fence yesterday. I finished the fence yesterday. Stuff for the skip and that, but I had to end up buying some stuff for the B&Q, which broke my heart. I needed a few fence posts, so I ended up having to buy them.
Get a water pistol for the cats.
I'm too far away from them. They're no.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So by the time I got the window open and it would need to be like a fireman's hose.
Bucket of water.
So listen, I thought when we talked about this before, I thought we would have a chance to have a wee blether and see if it would be interesting around the yoga stuff. So I suppose if you're okay with me asking a few questions and then just kind of, or you can do that if you want, and just we'll see where it goes. But how did you get into yoga?
Basically sciatica, low back, leg pain. I had periods where I was off my work painting for a couple of days, then maybe sometimes a week. And one time I was actually off my work for a month with sciatic back pain. Was that partly because some clown reversed into me and it kind of sent it up my leg. Then I realised a day or two later, and I was off work for a month. So I was like, I need to do something about this. I mean, I've had issues with my low back since I was probably in my 20s. And I need to do something. So I went to local community college, started yoga, pretty much for back pain.
Mm. And what kind of class was it?
A general hatha yoga class. So the teacher, she was really good. I mean, it was in a big gym hall in the college. She didn't do much walking about or adjusting or whatever. And then obviously as time went on and I'd done my teacher training, I asked her about it. She was trained with Yoga Scotland, who I'd done my teacher training with, and they're quite hands off. So they don't do a lot of walking about and touching people and physically adjusting people. So it's all verbal. It's mostly verbal commands or verbal instructions, I should say, or suggestions rather than commands. And I would like to invite you to Blether, the yoga language, you know that. I'd like to. So I'll throw it back at you, John. What brought you to yoga?
It was the same. It was back pain predominantly. I'd always had an interest in things like Tai Chi and kind of martial arts and that. But as we were reflecting the day, my partner and I'm a great joiner, and that's not like carpenter. I'm like a great joiner of things, and then really enthusiastic, then fucking leave them, like, you know. But I'd had long-term back pain, and I ended up going to the doctor again. I'd had so many explorative things done with it, like, you know, because they thought it was my kidneys, they thought it was a whole range of different things, and
the drink.
It was a locum doctor. I had probes and all sorts, man. I had something like a barium enema, you know, the fire fucking radioactive.
That's nice, man. Enjoy that.
It was the weirdest thing, and trying to hold it in for a wee while, like, you know, because your refs just wants to explode with it, like, you know, and I'm like, and then they put you on this machine, and it kind of it moves your whole body, and you're like, so as it coats on your, and it was crazy. So I was still no better, and it would go away for a wee while, and I'd come back, and I think it could have been with being a furniture remover. You know, I did that for years as well. So anyway, the guy that I went.
Is that when you were emptying people's houses when they were in their beds?
I never got into that. I was a kind of Robin Hood, the kind of Robin Hood, like, you know, raid for the rich, and you know, these big multinationals can afford that, you know, and that was the justification for my theft. But so it was actually going and seeing, and it was a locum doctor that was on this big guy, African guy, and he was brilliant, and he got off and he was showing me. He says, "I'm sure it's muscular." So he showed me some moves. I went, "Is that plank?" He went, "Yeah." He says, "Have you done yoga?" I went, "I've been to a couple of classes, but I didn't really like it because nobody told me what we were doing or why we were doing it. It was just, it was an exercise class, basically."
Yep.
So he says, "Try that." He says, "And try some running." He says, "Get into some running as well." He says, "I'm sure you'll find." So at that time, I kind of got in touch with Edinburgh Community Yoga. We're doing a wee bit with the Serenity Cafe, and people were raving about it. So I went along and did it, and it was brilliant because of the whole kind of, you know, it was hatha yoga, but it also included, you know, pranayama, which is part of it anyway, but also yoga nidra and stuff. Just all the things, or that relaxation, it was like a full workout with yoga, and I loved it. It was an hour and a half long class. And they told you why we were doing what we were doing, and it was for people in recovery. So I loved it, absolutely loved it from the start.
And a great organisation, Edinburgh Community Yoga, great people. They're a big inspiration to me, actually.
Yeah. So that was the kind of start of it, and kind of being that kind of guy that Disney either is all in or all out.
Have you got a cupboard full of stuff like scuba diving gear and all the kit and roller skating and aikido and all the rest of it? And all this, like Mr. Ben, you like Mr. Ben? Mr. Ben shop.
I've got one of these things. I wanted one for ages, and it's never flown an inch, and it's one of the drones. I've got a drone down there. I was good to myself. I bought it, and I've never used it yet because I've not got a phone that I can use it with. I've not got enough memory in my current phone, so I've got another phone, and that's buggered as well. So
a drone.
A drone, aye.
You know, if you get, I don't know what it would be like. You know, some of them, if you get a kind of decent one, you can set it so that it goes up and it can do a 360 round about you. You could be making some shapes and it could be in the sky floating around about you, recording a wee yoga session.
Yeah, so it's yeah, you can put a wee flight plan in for it, and that it comes back. It's half decent. It's my mate does it doing in Cornwall. He's got some beautiful shots of the, he goes out in the yacht and stuff. It's brilliant. So yeah, so I'm a bit like that. What about you? You a bit the same?
No, I'm kind of slow to take things up. I've got badminton rackets that a pal of mine gave me about 5, 7, 8 years ago. Oh, brilliant! Thanks. I'll use them. I've still no use them. Things like that. But no, I mean, I do like with the yoga. I've probably got about 5 good mats. It's a cracking mat. I'll buy that. But I use them for different places, and one's in a cupboard, and one's in a van, and they're rolling about in paint and stuff like that. So, I know.
What took you for being a practitioner, going along to yoga classes, to learn to deciding you wanted to be a teacher?
I was probably, I'll be at it about 5, 6 years when I thought to myself, quite early on, I realised that there was a lot more to it than just exercise. So you click quite early with the breathing and dropping into yourself. And I looked at it and I looked at the world of yoga, and as you'll know yourself, right, you're a bit of an anomaly. There's no many working class guys teaching yoga. There's no many men teaching yoga. There's no many working class men teaching yoga. And I thought I would like to get more working class men involved in yoga, working class people in general involved in yoga, because it is still predominantly a middle class hobby. So that was my motivation, was to try and open the door a bit to people like you, people like me, try and get more people involved. Pretty much that.
Yeah.
Would that be a similar? Obviously, you're coming from a recovery background. Were you thinking this is really useful to people in recovery?
Yeah, definitely. But the other thing, like you were that inspiration for me as well, because we met on that course when we did the course with the Minded Institute, and it was the Mark Minded Addiction Recovery Kit, and that notion that doing more working class men being able to do yoga, that really inspired me as well, because of the area I come from, and Edinburgh, and the average life expectancy at that time was 62 for a man, and I just knew the benefits that if we could get more men doing it.
You've not got long to go then, John.
I can, aye. It was my birthday this week, Mick. You knew that, eh?
I know that. What age were you? 61?
Yeah, nearly. Many years ago. So it's been great. It's been kind of, again, deciding to do it. And it was when I was traveling the world, and I'd met Krishna no long after I started with Edinburgh Community Yoga. Krishna was doing his yoga for about 8 weeks or something in the Serenity Cafe when his other venue was shut. And this guy was great as well. I mean, just such a calm, funny guy, a wee Indian guy, and he's lovely, and his wealth of knowledge on yoga is just profound, and it was great. So I like that. I've always enjoyed humour. I've always loved humour. And if some people are too much up their own arse,
I mean, there's nothing to say that you can't deliver a well thought out, intelligent, professional class and have a laugh. Who's to say you can't have a laugh at it? I mean, some people can be very serious about it, but kind of stick in the mud. It's like, I understand it's a serious business. We should treat yoga seriously, but to the same extent, we should be treating it serious, but it should be fun at the same time. I mean, if you're not having fun at it, you're wasting your time, really.
Kind of got that wee saying. I've got that wee saying that it is a serious business, but it shouldn't have to be somber.
Aye, spot on. Aye, exactly. Aye, definitely.
So you went and trained with the what is it called again? The Scottish
Yoga Scotland.
Yoga Scotland, yeah. They're one of the biggest bodies in the country.
They're officially they're the governing body for yoga in Scotland, recognised by Sports Scotland as the governing body, whatever that means. It sounds good anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was good. It was a comprehensive training. It was 2 years. I actually done it in Edinburgh because when my foundation course finished, I would have had to wait. They alternate year route between Glasgow and Edinburgh, so I would have had to wait another year when my foundation finished for the Glasgow course to come up. So I didn't want to wait. So I was driving back and forth to Edinburgh roughly every 5 weeks on a Saturday, Sunday to do the teacher training. And there was two lead teachers with probably about 60 years experience between the two of them.
Wow, yeah.
Jackie LeBrot and Cathy McDonald, fantastic. And the other teachers would come in for anatomy, pregnancy, all different stuff would come in over the course of the 2 years. Mm-hmm. So it was pretty comprehensive. That's a 500-hour training, and that would include your personal practice and going to classes regularly, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoyed it. I mean, it was hard going. It was hard going in the sense that probably if I'd done a year course or a 6 month or a 3 month or went to India or something for a month, you cram it, you're done. But I felt it gave me time to kind of understand it.
Yeah. It
broke me, but
the what? Sorry.
It nearly broke me, but the philosophy killed me, actually. The philosophy, I really struggled with the philosophy. The theoretical side of the philosophy, I mean, I think the yoga philosophy is quite obvious. I don't know if it's because possibly the philosophy of yoga is so mainstream, we don't actually realise it. You know, like Confucius or Plato or these things, stuff that goes back so far, it's probably so widely through the mainstream consciousness throughout the world that maybe some of this, I was thinking to myself, this is obvious. Why you turn into something clever and fancy and try, you know what I mean? I just thought this is really obvious. But then maybe it's because it's so mainstream, because it went so far into the mainstream that it seemed obvious. So I found the actual philosophical side a bit of a chore, partly because I thought it seemed obvious.
Yeah. I struggled with that part as well. There's quite a lot here which I thought, well, I'll probably never use that. You know, like getting taught algebra at school.
I don't use that.
But it was part of the curriculum, and I did do the kind of the boot camp one in southern India, in Kerala, and I loved it. I have to say, I don't think I could have done who knows, over the 2 years, but certainly money was a huge factor with me as well. I didn't have the money to kind of pay for it, so doing it in India is a good choice if you're on a budget.
Well,
that's the way I've done it, but I don't know. I think there are obviously benefits to doing both ways. I think you know, it was such an immersion into the culture as well as the practice itself. So you would kind of go along and do a puja and that, you know, the wee ceremonies, and the priest guy would come in and stuff like that. And it was nice, you know, don't get me wrong, I'm not particularly religious minded. And so that side of it, I've always had a wee bit of kind of aversion to it. But now it's like, what people believe, what the hell they want, it's none of my business, and I'm all right with that.
As long as you're not getting it rammed down your throat. I mean, I'm the same. I would consider myself to be an atheist. I consider myself to be a cultural Catholic. Growing up in the west of Scotland, I was brought up. I was christened, communed, and confirmed. Grew up in a Catholic family, but by the time I was about 12, I just thought, this is nonsense. So I would consider myself to be a religious atheist, right? But a cultural Catholic. So culturally, I'm a Catholic in the sense of in the environment I grew up in. I'll not run down Catholicism for the entertainment of somebody who basically doesn't like Catholics. But if you ask me about it, I'm no interest in Catholicism. To me, or religion, fundamentally, I think it's nonsense. I don't have a problem with people's individual adherence to religion or even spirituality, I don't really even know what that means. My interest in people is emotions and our emotional response to stuff. I think everything we talk about the body, to me, where that meets is the emotions. So we get an emotional response, whether it's, so if I say to you emotions, what's your first thought? What comes up when you think of emotions?
Feelings.
But I mean, like name an emotion. What would you say? You know, like you think.
Yeah. Well, I used to be good with anger. I knew anger
Right.
easily, and I suppose depression or pain or you know, that kind of.
So all the obvious stuff, sadness, joy,
Yeah.
you know, like laughter, but like that. So that's our kind of general understanding of emotions. We think of the obvious stuff. I'm kind of thinking more now about how everything's an emotional response. Everything that we do, you know, the way we carry ourselves, you know, that tension in the body, the laughing, the crying, everything is an emotional response to what's going on with us mentally. So I'm not really thinking about spirituality. I think about emotions. I think about everything manifests itself emotionally. So I'm interested in people's emotional manifestation, what's happening in the mind. So everything that we're mentally will manifest itself emotionally. So this is why people are breaking down. This is why people are stressed, they're anxious, they're carrying themselves really badly, they've got really bad posture because there's something going on emotionally. So rather than kind of spiritual or religious, I'm interested in the emotional makeup of what a person is.
Yeah, that's interesting because I kind of go down that route as well. The notion that the kind of the body keeps the score and everything is a response from that. And a lot of programming early days, you know, especially in that first 3 years of life, childhood and infancy, has such an impact in later years. Not to say that you're stuck with that, but what we know of, you know, when trauma occurs, especially in those early years, or the withholding the emotion, you know, a positive emotional connection with adults or caregivers or whatever, or violence or a whole range of things, that has long-term effects unless that trauma is dealt with, and it's stored in the body. It's physical as well as mental and emotional.
That's the book, isn't it? The book's called the Body Keeps the Score.
Yeah, there's one of them. Yeah, definitely. Yep. But and similarly, in the field that I'm kind of working, well, I found myself working in for so long, which is about recovery from addiction, it's very similar. I mean, hardly anybody I know in the recovery field, you know, or even in the addiction field, who are addicted to substances or other kind of behaviours or whatever, it's predominantly back to that trauma, unresolved trauma being carried in the body, which has affected the mind, which affects the way we then deal with things. Right. You know, because it changes the neural pathways when we're young. We become self-soothing, so we look for things to soothe us. You know. Yep. And when drugs come along, that's wonderful. I can attest to that. I'm just writing about that at the moment, about the first time I ever got intoxicated, really. And but I think the first time was with cigarettes, getting that spinning in the head and all that.
Yeah, right. Well, that's the gateway. You know, people talk about marijuana, the gateway drug. I've seen that for years. Cigarettes is the gateway drug. It really is. It's the easiest thing to get access to when you're young. It's easier to get access to, especially years ago, than drink was. And then people see the amount of people I spoke to who they would smoke marijuana, smoke hash, right? And they'd say, people who would say, "Oh, I didn't start smoking cigarettes till I was 19, 20," and I would always say to them, "Did you run out of hash?" And they just kind of go, "Aye." So they were smoking joints, right? And then because they never had anything to put in the joint, they end up on the fags. So cigarettes are a gateway drug. The gateway drug.
I think I've told you this, but I did it the other way about. When I was trying to come up with fags, I says, right, I'm only just going to keep on smoking hash. As that went on, that didn't work, because I was putting like 2 grains of cannabis and with a roll up, like, you know,
20 joints a day. So lots of people who consider themselves not to be smokers are smoking 10 joints a day with about a 5.5 in it. You're like, that seriously?
I know. Yeah. So, so that kind of, but that use of substances to self-soothe, you know, or to overcome shyness or social phobias or whatever, which is why alcohol works so well.
Aye.
But the work of people like Gabor Mate, you know, who talks about this kind of almost embodiment of the addictions and that kind of hurt and the need to be able to deal with that. And obviously yoga is a good way kind of start to engage with that stuff in your body, start to free some of that stuff. I've been in floods of tears and with yoga, you know, especially some of the kind of heart opening moves and stuff like that. I was like, I had no idea where it was coming from. I intellectually, I could not work out why I was so emotional, and it was just boring. I had to run out the studio, and I was in southern Crete, and the mountains were beautiful, and the sea, and the tears were just flooding down me, and I never had a clue what I was grieving about.
Crazy, yeah.
Oh, it was crazy. So I felt that a few times. I felt that emotion when we've done a particular move or held it for a certain amount of time or whatever, and it's like there's a release. It's just like a big release happening, and that's what I found with the Yin Yoga. That's why I was so interested in that.
John, is that not just because you're from Edinburgh and you're a bit soft?
Aye. I could be an Eastern softie.
Aye. Stop greeting. Dry your eyes, mate.
Dry your eyes, aye.
Aye, well, I'm not as. It's a funny thing. You wouldn't. Theory's great, isn't it? You know, the body keeps a score and all the rest of the stuff. You think, aye, I understand that's not. But when it actually impacts you and you do something physically, you make. I mean, let's face it, yoga's a series. The physical aspect of yoga is a series of breathing better, thoughtful breathing patterns, making shapes and the movement between the shapes. So when you kind of you hit that wee magic formula, what it does for you is it can be spectacular. You wouldn't actually think you really, if you try to rationalize it, you wouldn't think it was possible. And that's why I think that's what. Cut out there.
Aye, your side froze and then it went.
Aye, we're back. I mean, from a kind of theoretical point of view, you think, oh, it makes sense now, but when you actually feel it, something else.
Oh, it's so powerful. It's interesting. My teacher says yoga is not a philosophy. He's adamant about that. Yoga itself is not a philosophy. It's an experiential practice, and you didn't listen to anybody else. You have to listen to your body. You have to, you have to experience it. Otherwise, it's not worth anything. He says, didn't just listen to me. Didn't listen to me. He says, didn't take anything for granted. Try it, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, maybe try a wee bit more, and then discard it and find something else. But it's.
Well, I say that in my classes all the time. I try and remember to say it in every class, particularly new people who just came for a start. I say to them, treat everything I say as a suggestion rather than an instruction. Partly it's legal cover, in case I break anybody and I say, hey, I never told you, I only suggested it,
Yeah.
But honestly, I treat everything as a suggestion. Because it really is. I mean, you don't know people. People can come and tell you. I mean, how many times you taught a class and you ask people anything I should know about, any injuries, or they don't tell you. No, I'm all right. And then at the end they go, oh, that was really good. No, I've got a herniated disc in my back, or they tell you they tell you some mad stuff. You're like, you really should have told me this at the start. So I'm thinking about doing some YouTube videos, and I'm going to say at the start of that, I'm going to say consult with your general practitioner.
Your
make sure you get
your
medical
healthcare profession, healthcare. I say that at the start of my things as well. At the start of my classes, you know, if you're new in my class, you know, you have to take care. You know, it's a fallacy that people didn't get injured at yoga. Of course they do. Of course they do. Any form of physical exercise, if you're not warming up, if you're not doing, you know, if you've got an underlying condition, it's going to help. Even if you were standing in front of me, I've not got an X-ray, yeah, so I didn't care what is going on inside your body. You have to be responsible for your own body. So in that sense, everything is only a suggestion, and it's like, if what yoga is doing for us is helping us to get into our own body, get the feelings, the sensations for the different part of the body, and marrying that with the breath, and then just that huge state of just being, isn't it? It's like, and so if people are just doing and following what you're doing, it's not going to work.
No. It's really nice to see, you know, see some people who come to your class and then they click and you know they're really enjoying it because you look at them and you see them, they're lost in the practice. You know, you're talking them through the routine, but you're only just talking. They're although they're following what you're suggesting, they really are. They're there. They're in the zone. You know, they're really enjoying it. They're immersed in it. That's a great feeling to think that somebody's came to you. You might be the first person that ever came to practice yoga. And they're loving it, you know, they're really in the zone, and that might be the highlight of the week. I found that myself when I started practicing yoga, when I was going to a regular class. That was a highlight of my week. It really was. And one of the big things for me was you get into, because as usual, it was a class full of women. The occasional guy would come for a month or two and he would disappear, but I was there consistently. I was the guy up the back, just hiding up the back. And the big thing for me was to make sure I was shaved, I was clean. I wasn't smelling a BO. I was well presented. I thought, if it's the highlight of my week, it's probably the highlight of a lot of these women's weeks. So I didn't want to go and ruin it for them by being smelly guy up the back. You know what I mean? So some people really, I mean, it really is the highlight of their week, and you can see how much they're enjoying it. So to be able to do that for people, to be able to put on a simple class in a community that's affordable, and for them to really get a benefit out of it, that's a privilege. It's a privilege for me. It's a big thing. It's a big thing to be able to help people get that experience.
Yeah. I love that element. Yeah, and I love seeing people coming together. And you know, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Johann Hari said, you know, the opposite of addiction is the abstinence.
Connection.
The addiction is connection, and you see people connecting with their own body and their breath and stuff like that. It has such a profound effect. But also then afterwards, we always try and have some food and stuff together. You know, we bring food to share and stuff like that. And that makes a hell of a difference as well. And just some people that we work with, you know, obviously with the outreach program that Edinburgh Community Yoga does, and I know a lot of the people you work with as well are connected to maybe mental health nurses or something, maybe experience depression or a whole range of other things. It could be antenatal, postnatal depression, I should say, and all that kind of stuff. And obviously us with the addiction as well. And it just seems to connect people in a way, you know, I suppose social clubs and all that used to do it in the past as well. And kind of, I would imagine, you know, domino clubs and all that kind of stuff. But this is a much healthy version of that. And it just pisses me off still that so many people see it as that kind of middle class, kind of yummy mummy thing, and it's not true. You know, more and more there's an element of that. There's an element of the beautiful people and stuff doing it where it's a kind of lifestyle. But even that's all right. It's nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? But
no.
But
Instagram, innit? Instagram, a place to pose, and Facebook's a place to moan. You can really get caught up in the whole Instagram type thing, not it's like, I had it on my phone, then I took it off my phone, and I'm like, I can't be bothered. I'm going to do a headstand somewhere and put it on, and then I'm like, I can't be bothered with this. I don't see the point. I'm trying to find different ways of putting the yoga out there. You know, I've got ideas. You know, so that the beautiful people on beaches, not right? Great. You went on holiday. You went on a lovely holiday. You're in Thailand or something like that, right? You're on a beautiful beach. You've made a great shape. Fantastic. But you get sick of seeing it. You really do. So what I'm thinking is, no, get into a headstone up a back alley somewhere, or on top of a wheelie bin, or you know, in some urine stained corner up a back alley, that kind of thing. Shake things up a bit and get people thinking differently about yoga.
Aye. Because almost invariably when you see it, there are a few exceptions, but because we know where to look for them now, they're more available to us. But for the general population, it is still a kind of young woman, quite slim, with kind of jeggings on or something like that, cutting some beautiful
outfit. Yep.
And getting it that way that you talked about. And I remember years ago you said that we should get some, you know, done round about here, the old Edinburgh and stuff like that. That was yeah. But it's trying to get it to people what the benefits are, because I've got a lot of people in my family and others who would benefit greatly from it, but they can't see themselves doing it, you know. And so it's getting a way that is that's accessible, I suppose. Mm-hmm. And that's why I was doing it in the local social club up in Craigmillar, and done it doctor surgery and stuff and that up. And that's been quite successful. And then COVID hit, obviously, but the stuff in the social clubs didn't kind of take off. And that was my idea, was to try and get more men groups. Because you spoke about it, you mentioned it a wee bit ago. You says you stood at the back of the class when you went to the, you know, kind of teaching, and when you went there. But when I did that bit of research for the Edinburgh Yoga Festival, one of the reasons I did the top 10 reasons why men didn't do yoga, right? And one of them was because invariably they stand at the back of the room and they don't know what the hell they're doing, you know. And almost immediately they're faced with a kind of sea pudendas sticking back at them, and they feel pervy. They feel like pervs. You've got all these arses and stuff looking back.
It's got its benefits, but then that's if you're in the body beautiful. It's like I tend to be in the classes with lots of middle-aged and the lumpies and bumpies like me and you. So that's the reality. That's what we're looking for. Is the people that need yoga, the people who show up with their £5 Asda joggies. That's what we're after. Their £5 Asda yoga mat, instead of the people that look apart. You know what I mean? So it's.
Oh, wait a minute, man. We're not completely free of this stuff ourselves.
Go for it.
The Lululemon twins here.
Our sponsors. Aye, thanks to them. We've had great support with Yoga Glasgow, with the stuff we're doing with the community yoga through health centres, teaching yoga to people who are reporting to their GPs with stress, anxiety, depression and related pain. And Lululemon have been great support for us with that. They've gave us a load of mats. They've funded us through their, I think it's called Here to Be. It's quite an unusual name of a program. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Jenny here in Glasgow has been great. Support's been fantastic. So this is the beauty in yoga. It's so wide. You've got people who are people who you conventionally see as yoga, young, fit, wearing the good gear, right through people in the jail. I mean, see the amount of times I've come across guys, working class guys, who, and they are just, you talk to them, right, and they're just pure, straight up working class guys for the conversation you're having with them. And they go, I've done a bit of yoga and all that, right? But they don't say where, they don't say, oh, I went to the sports centre or blah, blah, blah. They don't tell you any of that. And within a matter of a minute or two, you go, like, all right, they've obviously done it in the jail. You know what I mean? So there is actually, although me and you are quite common, we talk about this and we say there's no lot of working class men doing yoga. The exposure that working class men have got to yoga is in prison, ironically. That's where most working class guys who have got some experience of yoga actually done it in the jail.
Yeah. I think
So,
can you hear me all right?
Aye, fine, aye.
The picture seems to have frozen.
You froze as well. You're just not moving, that's all.
That's all right. As long as you can hear me. Aye. So you set up YoGrow, didn't you? You want to tell us a wee bit about that? How that operates?
Yo Glasgow. Well, myself and another few people got together and it kind of morphed into what is Yo Glasgow. So it's Yo in front of Glasgow. The idea was to teach yoga through two-pronged attack. Take it into, so we're kind of based in Easterhouse in the east end of Glasgow, which is obviously a massive housing scheme. So the idea was a two-pronged attack of community classes, affordable community classes, and primarily the north and northeast of the city. And so they're cheap, affordable classes. They'll be either between £3 and a £5 drop-in classes. And we had free classes running, 10-week block sessions, either chair yoga or therapeutic yoga, running through health centres. So we've done Easterhouse, we've done Possil, we've done Bridgeton, and people would come through the community links practitioner based in these health centres or directly through their GP, and they would recommend them, and they would enter the 10-week programme where they would basically do a basic yoga programme and would give them a handout with all the postures and kind of background information and all that, and they would do this 10-week programme of yoga, and they were getting that free through their GP. So the idea was to try and deal with people who are reporting to their GP with stress, anxiety, depression, related pain, to see if we can help people self-maintain, self-treat some of what's going on. We're talking about the stresses and the emotional responses that for what's going on in the mind, impacting on the body physically in an emotional manner. So we're trying to tool people up so that they could deal with some of this stuff themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how long's that been going now?
A couple of years, just over 2 years actually. It was kicking in really well before this pandemic madness hit. With support for funding through Lululemon, they've been great. Opening up, expanding other classes, community-based classes, and we had another up-and-coming few chair yoga sessions. We were actually moving into Pollock as well on the south side, and Govan. And where else? Going to be Rutherglen. So moving south out of our kind of traditional base in the East End. So hopefully, once we get the pandemic, social distancing, God knows how this is all going to go, but we hope to get back to community-based classes, and particularly in the health centres later in the year, if not next year.
Yeah, obviously I've been since I came back from India, I've been involved with Edinburgh Community Yoga as one of the means of kind of delivering classes, outreach to similar populations. I did yoga for men and the Serenity Cafe, but also doing the work with people in recovery from addictions, people recovering from mental health experience and stuff like that. And yeah, loving it, absolutely loving it. No massive classes by any means, which I think is great, because it can be terrifying for people to go into a big class.
You need a small group, and we cap it. I mean, when I do the therapeutic yoga, maximum 8 people in a group. Because once you get too big, people, how are they meant to bond? How are they meant to actually form? So part of what we're doing is, the idea is try to re-establish community. People dealing with social isolation. So you get people who go to the same GP's practice, they're all going to live relatively close to each other. So you're getting a kind of a varied group of people. Then over the course of 10 weeks, they're building up a wee bit of a relationship with other people. So the group of women we had in Easterhouse, they all ended up pals. at the back end of this, going out for a coffee and stuff like that. So, and you're saying about Edinburgh Community Yoga, I mean, they've been a big inspiration to what we've done. We kind of model ourselves on them, although we're doing something slightly different. But great people, great inspiration.
They've had good support, and just again recently support from Lululemon as well, like yourself, but also Yoga Matters. You know, the woman we met from London, she was up, I think. She was doing some writing about it as well. So yeah, and you know, it was kind of strange going into that place, into Lululemon, where it's, you know, you can pay 120 quid or something for a pair of joggers and stuff like that. And I think the first time we ever went, you were there, me and you, it was the launch of the mental health yoga calendar.
Aye, that's right, aye.
And so that was the first time I'd ever been in that shop, and it was really interesting to see the prices and stuff like that. And I was like, it's not a place I would ever normally go. You know what I mean? I was like,
I was acting as your decoy. I was picking up stuff and handling the goods, and you were putting it in your bag.
The chori, the old yoga chori.
Sleight of hand in that, a wee bit of distraction. Obviously, that never happened. But I'm going to say the support's been fantastic. I absolutely can't fault them. But before when I was involved with them, I would the same. I'd be like, God, this stuff's expensive. I can't afford this. But I say I can't fault the support, definitely.
Yeah, no, it's good. And we Edinburgh Community Yoga did a month in the building doing the free yoga on a Sunday morning, and right. I went along and delivered one of the classes there, and it was good. It was completely weird because the space was that the teacher was in the middle doing it this end, and then there was rows and rows of people kind of at the side, so you were seeing people with peripheral vision almost. It was kind of weird, but it was good. It was enjoyed it a lot, and the people are really friendly, really nice. So yeah, there's room for it all. There's room for the, as you say, the £5 ASLA trackies to the the 120 quid or more for the Lululemon stuff, and it's like ultimately it's not going to make you a better yogi, or it's not going to, but
makes you look better.
You'll look better. Maybe. Yeah. So, how are you doing with the COVID stuff? You giving up the classes, or?
I'm not teaching. I started. I was trying to find a platform. Everybody's onto Zoom. I opted for Facebook Live because I thought Facebook, I can understand that it's simple. Most people are on it. I got a few people who were not on it. People who come to my classes to join, and then I've done about 4 sessions, and I kind of came to the conclusion I don't like this. I don't like the try to figure out if people are actually, if the connection's there, if they can see you, how's this translating. I just didn't actually enjoy it. So I says to the people who used my sessions, I says, look, these 4 sessions are still there. I says, you use them, feel free to use them, don't forget cost. I'll maybe do some YouTube stuff in the future, and I'll get back to you in person when I can actually get back to teaching physical classes. But to tell you the absolute truth, John, I'm really enjoying no teaching yoga. Honestly, personally, I'm an avid personal stuff going on for years where I've not been looking after myself. So this break's been really good for me. What I'm doing is the therapeutic yoga that I designed for Yoga Glasgow that I was teaching through the health centres, etc. I'm using that as my personal practice in the morning. So this is my practice. So if it's good enough for the goose, good enough for the gander. So I'm putting it out to other people, implying that this can help them, they can self-heal through it. So I'm taking a dose of my own medicine, and I'm actually using this myself to get myself back on track. I'm running every second day. I've got it up to 2 miles, which is great for me because I'm not a runner. I've never been a football player or anything like that. So for me, jogging, I move slightly faster than I walk. Both feet are up at the same time. So technically it's running, but I would say jogging. I'm not running. I don't move very fast, but I'm doing that every second day. So I'm really enjoying it. As much as it's funny because although it can be stressful getting to a class and setting up and getting there and all the rest of it, when I'm actually teaching a class, I really enjoy it. I'm in the zone. I lose myself in the class, and it's when I feel something probably at my most peaceful and my happiest and at my best is when I'm actually teaching, because I know people really enjoy it. But I'm really enjoying no teaching. It's great.
Yeah,
It's great. It's great not having the responsibility. Also because I'm out painting during the day. So I've got my son Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I would be teaching Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday morning. So I'm out painting during the day. I'm trying to get home, get a bath, lie down for 30 minutes, go and teach a class. So it can be quite demanding. So I'm really enjoying the fact that I'm just going to do a bit of painting. I can come back at night, sit and watch a bit of telly, rather than having to go out and deliver the yoga. So I'll be glad to get back to it when it comes to it, but I'm really enjoying the break.
Yeah. I mirror that, man. Absolutely mirror that. I don't think I've ever been out so much as I have since lockdown, out in the fresh air. And especially just coming out of winter like that, I'd get up in the morning, I'm leaving the house in the dark, and I'm coming back in the dark, and I'm travelling. Some days I didn't even get out at lunchtime out of the office because there was so much kind of going on. And I've got ADD, or the vestiges of ADHD, you know, and I find it hard with these open plan offices to concentrate. So I've been more productive at home by a mile, you know, by a long shot, than I was at the office. Now, what I miss to that is the interaction with people, because we're a tight-knit team that help each other and have a laugh. So I miss that banter. I miss the banter and that kind of nonsense, like, you know, and just seeing people. But in actual fact, I've been out walking the dogs. I've kind of, you know, been working in the garden and just looking after myself. People now know not to phone me between 12:30 and 1:30 because I'm having my lunch break. I've already worked 4 hours. You know, and I can do that here where I couldn't do it in the office. So, and I was teaching 4 or 5 classes a week and doing something else, and I was like, just working myself to death. Again, that's the nature of addiction as well. It can pop up in other ways, and that's one that I'm very aware of. So just being able to take stock and do some thinking and a wee bit of writing about it as well. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I know all this stuff as well. I've taught it. You know.
I know it's really easy to be sowing the seeds, but actually no be tending to yourself. It's really easily done. You mentioned there about writing. I know when you went around the world and you were visiting all different recovery communities on many continents, and then you finished up and done your teacher training, you come back and you wrote quite extensively about it. It was really interesting. Have you got any plans to do any more writing?
I've done some writing at the moment.
And what we're talking about?
I've got a course coming up there. I've got a master class this week with a writer who writes, who specialises in, you know, telling your own stories, you know, telling that kind of stuff. But there's a 10-week class coming up that I'm going to buy into as well. I just missed one that I really wanted to go into. And I'm going to use that because, remember what I said right at the start, I'm a great giner.
Aye.
So when I'm inspired, I'll go and do it, but I'll not sit and slog at it. Which is how you need to do it, I think. You know, if it can come out, and I spoke to Gabor Matti about this. I said, how do you keep writing? How, you know, especially when you hit the tough bits and stuff. And he says, well, you've got to be absolutely passionate about what you want to write, and you have to have an angle. You know, that it's your perspective. You know, it has to be, you know, something fresh that you're bringing to the field, and that'll propel you. That'll keep you. You know, that's like the fuel to keep you going. So I think I've been just overworking and not having the bandwidth to deal with that. And we went out yesterday and we sat at the harbour. Didn't tell anybody. We sat at the harbour. She's writing a novel. And she encouraged me to get back. And I wrote a piece about my granddad on my dad's side. who lived in a model lodging house. You know what a model lodging house?
Aye, a Dossus.
A Dossus, which is the most famous one in Edinburgh at that time, was 75 the Grass Market. And I can still remember I went in to see him, and the smells, and it was like gagging with the smell of disinfectant. It was so strong and stuff like that. And he was showing me the kind of boxes that they lived in. Kind of was like wooden formed with a cot almost, like a wooden cot with a mattress on it. But up above and on the side they were enclosed, up above was wire mesh. And he pointed that out to me, old Pop pointed that out to me. He says, that shows that the bastards can't get over and day in during the night or steal your stuff. None of them had 2 pennies to rub together. Get what I mean? But,
crazy, yeah.
So I wrote that sitting at the harbour. I wrote the kind of experiences and the feelings and that. And he was a guy, because of that side of the family's kind of predilection for crime and being involved in all sorts of craziness, like, a huge family, about 10 or 11 bairns that survived, and all of them at some point had been in trouble. My dad was in he was in prison and that, but he was also in the reform kind of schools with the Christian brothers through your neck of the woods, and he hated them with a vengeance. Like, my granddad had got really used to dealing with the criminal justice system, so we were going up for advice for him, like, and at that time the Grass Market was the centre of the kind of street drinking in Edinburgh, and he was well known, and everybody let on to him, and he was a lovely guy. Come on, a lovely guy. So I was just writing that out, and how he was the antithesis of his wife Mary, who was from Enniskillen, and she was alcoholic as well. I mean, they were all bloody alkies, in my family. But she was kind of firebrand, and he was just a really nice guy, really quite mild mannered, as was my dad. I mean, I wouldn't cross my dad, but he was a nice guy to be around. But his own demons obviously grown up in that household as well, and so it was nice. It was nice getting back to that writing again, because it was evoking kind of memories of things, and a big part of why I am, or how I have been up until now. Because that kind of stuff, and it's no negative. It's some of the things kept you going in tough times and that as well. And I was in the army quite young. I think it was about 17, 18, something like that when I went in. I might have been 18 and a half. I went into the army. And it was completely out of my comfort zone. It's out of anybody's comfort zone. But there was a lot of bullying. Not just for the guys that you joined with, because they were for some of the hardest parts of the UK and other countries, but there was an almost institutional bullying that went on as well, and that was hard to take, because I'd kind of been brought up with a sense of justice, through trade union movement, through being with people that were socialists and stuff like that. So I had this almost inbuilt kind of. And that's where the Robin Hood stuff came from as well. I used to justify my thieving for the places that I work by, these bastards are making enough money anyway.
It's funny that you say about the army. I haven't experienced the army or anything, but it's this, they always talk about the bullying culture in the army, and it's like, there's always, every so often it comes up and there's suicides and stuff, and it's like, it would seem blindingly obvious when you think about it. An institution that's designed to turn you into a killer is going to say, I mean, surely they're going to brutalise you. Do you know what I mean? It would appear obvious to me. You're going to brutalise people. If you're going to send them out into the world to do whatever, then surely you're going to brutalise them. It would seem par for the course. So fundamentally, the flaws in the whole notion of militarisation. I mean, people talk about defence of the realm and all the rest of it, but armies are designed, as guns are designed, they're designed to do damage. They're really not designed to protect.
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, there was elements there. that you could get from other places, like the camaraderie, the being in really tough situations. I mean, we were in Belfast and then in Armagh, South Armagh, when it was the height of the conflict over there, which was
bandit country.
It was, absolutely was. And I remember we were doing, and we were escorting the kind of road sweeper that was cleaning the roads after a massacre. And it was the reprisal by the IRA provisionals against the Protestants for the Miami show band massacre, where they had done the same thing, pulled them all, split them up, Catholics over there, Protestants over there, and then machine gunned them, you know. And we were there, and we had been out for a couple of days, and we didn't have the vehicles. We were on Province Reserve from Belfast down there to boost the troops, and we needed water for a brew up, and I went to one of the ferns. It was all countryside, you know. We weren't in the tunes or that, and I went up and asked tapped on the farmer's door, and obviously the thing that had happened was just doing the Lane film, like, you know, the murder, like, you know, murders. And he was going, you know, this is terrible. He says, we never had this before. We were always able to live beside our neighbours, and, you know, Protestants and Catholics used to see each other, go to church on a Sunday, and he says, we never did this. This is horror, you know. And two of the guys at that time were electricians in our camp up in Hollywood in Belfast, and one was Catholic, one was Protestant. They'd served their time together, but now they couldn't go for a pint together. They couldn't do anything. So they two emigrated with their families to Canada. You know what I mean? Right. And I think that happened a lot. I think a lot of people kind of got out at that time as well. But being able to kind of look after yourself, you know, that kind of violence that I was brought up in, stood me in good stead in places like that. But again, you're never dealing with whatever's going on for you. You're just, you know, you're able to hit out or whatever, and make it so that they didn't come for you again. You know, you make it cost them, and that's the kind of story with prisons and all sorts of places where violence is kind of institutionalized and stuff as well. That you have to detach for your feelings and emotions, or you try to. And and so you need to be able to access rage quite quickly.
Yep. It's funny. Sorry, John. It's funny that I say, as much as me and you have got in common, right? A couple of working class guys growing up in housing schemes, one in Glasgow and one in Edinburgh, and teaching yoga. My background's the exact opposite to yours. My childhood's the exact opposite to yours. Although I say I grew up, I actually live on the same street that I grew up on. I live across the road for the tenement that I grew up on. They've been pulled down now. Classic kind of scheme tenements with verandas out the front and stuff like that. 6 families up close. But my experience was that I had an Irish mother for Donegal. My father's second generation Irish, so he was for Grangemouth originally. His father's for Donegal. My dad, gentleman, nice, big, quiet guy, landscape gardener. Didn't he really drink? He probably done a bit of drinking when he was younger, but when we were growing up, there wasn't any drinking in the house. There wasn't any gambling. There wasn't any fighting. You would know my parents had an argument because you would go into the kitchen. My mother would be kind of a bit red-faced, a bit teary, washing the dishes, tidying up. My dad would be in the front room, their bedroom. He had a cupboard full of tins, one Golden Virginia roll-up tobacco tins with nuts and bolts. He'd be sorting out his cupboard. She'd be in the kitchen. That was an argument. They went to the opposite sides of the house as far as you could get in a tenement flat. They went to the opposite sides of the house, stayed away from each other for a couple of hours. That was it. But I mean, it was like Swiss Family Robinson up close. I've got a brother and 2 sisters. We never had a lot. Say my mother was either a cleaner or a factory worker her whole life. My dad was a landscape gardener. The money, there wasn't a lot of money, but it wasn't getting squandered. It wasn't at the bookies. There was nobody at the bookies. My mother went to the bingo a couple of times a week, but there wasn't any bookieing. There wasn't any gambling, really. There was no drinking. So the money that came in got spent on the family. It got spent on us. We got a holiday in Ireland every year because we had somewhere to go free. It was a case of getting there and having spending money. So I had an idyllic childhood, absolutely idyllic. Scheme life, you know, the games that young people just swathes of young people, gangs of young people cutting about. No gangs in a negative sense, just gangs in the sense of whole loads of young people going to the park and playing in the streets and all the rest of it. But it was all about me. It's a funny thing. Like, I would be at school with guys when I was in primary school, and guys would say to me, "I hate my dad, he's an old bastard," and it shocked me. I would be like, "Imagine talking about your dad like that." I couldn't comprehend it. And it's only as I became an adult and in my kind of later teens and as an adult, I realised some people's dads were bastards. Some people's dads were useless. You know, they were like fucking, they were horrible people. Some people's families, some people's circumstances growing up, people running about me, and I didn't really know it. I didn't realise it. Some people's childhoods were atrocious. But because I had such a good childhood, and I thought my childhood was normal, I thought my childhood was the norm. I thought it was pretty much the way everybody lived. So as I got older, I realised, God, the world's not as good as I thought it was growing up. I say, and I really did have a great childhood.
Yeah.
So it was an eye opener as I got older to realise how a lot of people were living. People up my close on my street, people I knew, people pals, people who were saying my dad's an old bastard, and I'm like, ah. Then you get older and go, aye, well, do you know what? You're quite entitled to that opinion. If that's your experience of your dad, fair enough. Yeah. So it's funny, all the experiences. So it's good to. There's a lot of stories need told, because as much as your story needs told, quite often what happens is a lot of the working class stories that get told through drama, through literature or whatever, tends to be the stories about drink and about drugs and about that triumph or adversity. But you don't get a lot of stories about happy working class childhoods.
No.
It doesn't sell. People like this. People, especially middle class executives, like to sell your standard stories about working class deprivation.
I think because there's drama in there, because it's eminently readable. But I knew families like you just described your own, and they're all around about us. I mean, if you think Craig Miller itself at that time had 25,000 people living in it. You know, it was a fairly big scheme. It was actually a series of smaller schemes, all within the Greater Craig Miller area. But some of them, the backbone to the city, you know, the builders, your bus drivers, your conductors, and that was, you know, miners, loads of miners, lots of brewery workers lived in the area because it's 7 breweries. So, yeah, I was aware of it in my immediate friendship group of people who weren't experiencing what I was experiencing at home. That became clear to me. And I was always welcomed into their houses and stuff like that. And it was funny, I met my mate's old man last year after I hadn't seen him for 40 years, something like that. Right. And so when I found out he was still staying there, I was working in West Lothian, I went in to see him. And he goes, "Come away," and he was a lovely guy. He was actually the Queen's coach painter at St Cuthbert's, where the horses and the carriage, he painted. He was what do you call it? What kind of painting is it? Kind of coach painting.
Sign writing.
Yeah, and all that kind of
pinstripes and lettering and all that. And
beautiful stuff.
Lovely.
And they lived in the flats in Greendykes, like, you know, which wasn't. And his mother was like she worked in a chemistry lab or something like that. But they were lovely, lovely people. And he says, "Come away in, John." This was last year, and I went away in to see him. Like, you know, we were having such a laugh because a big hearty kind of guy, like, you know, a big hearty laugh. Obviously getting old now and stuff. And he says, "You know, I used to say that to my wife." He says, "That John Arthur would get a piece at anybody's door." Because he liked stories about that. Because I was going to tell him stories about what's been happening and that, and it was just, they were just transferred. And they must have known, you know, that, you know, the size of the families that I came from were huge. I think I counted there was 65 cousins, something like that. And then the 5 of us, you know, it was like a lot of people, huge family. Yeah. And Ruth was laughing at me the day because I was saying we're passing a bit of Craig Miller, and I was going, "Well, that was my Uncle Jimmy that lived there." I says, "No, on a Sunday morning we would go up to the dump and strip all the copper wire out in, and we could find and then burn it, and then blah, blah, blah. I said, but that was my Uncle Jimmy. There was 3 Jameses. So we called them Jimmy, Jim, and James. So it's a differentiate. But yeah, loads of stuff. I think that's me just running out of juice, pal, with the computer. So
I can hear a wee beep there.
So I'm going to finish up just now, but that's the kind of idea. Do you want to watch this back? What I'll do is I'll copy it and I'll save it and I'll send you the link for YouTube.
Right.
We'll not make it public. It'll be by invite only, and you can have a wee look over it, and we'll maybe get some ideas for going forward. Because I like the way you were interjecting the wee funnies and stuff. That was great.
Yeah, you've got it, haven't you?
Oh, I
think it's went well. It's there's a good but that's why I was saying as well about your experiences of growing up, and I thought it's good to tell the other side of that. You know what I mean? Because although for what we have got in common, we've got very different childhoods. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And it's that stuff that you're no fixed. You know, whatever happens, whether you've had a good upbringing or whether you've had a hard one. That's no fix for life. It influences how you think and but that cannot change. You can change all that.
Yep.
And that's
the measure of the man.
That kind of redemption stuff. Redemption song. Okay.
100%, mate.
Right, well, lovely talking to you, Mick. That's my phone as well. I'll catch up with you.
Great idea, mate.
Cheers.
Right. Cheers, John. See you later.
Cheers.